News Radio WAM 1180 welcomes you to The Seniors Rock Show. The Seniors Rock Show, a lively weekly discussion shedding a bright light on aging with fun, entertainment, and important info for all adults. Join us with your comments or questions. Call or text 222-1180 or 1-800-295-1180. Now, from the News Radio WAM 1180 studios in downtown Rochester, here's your host, Joanna Palvino.
Welcome to Seniors Rock Radio and to our broadcast that starts at 11. Now, I'm going to keep reminding people because I almost forgot. We've been doing that 12 o'clock time start, for about 4 years now. But again, we started at 11, so I hope you tuned in. And I hope you enjoy the show today. I am Joanna, your host for the next hour, and we're here with estate planning attorney and co-host Mike Robinson of the Law Office of Michael Robinson. And our guest today is knowledgeable about a topic that is part of all of our lives, and it's called waste. That sounds kind of weird, I know, but you'll understand better when you hear Michael Garland today. He's the director of the Monroe County Department of Environmental Services, and as director, he's responsible for the department's operating budget, as well as the over 300 employees working in environmental services. He supports the divisions of Pure Waters, Solid Waste, Engineering Facilities, and the department's Green Fleet, which is really cool. I saw the way those cars are marked up, and you'll see them on the road. We're thankful today that he's here with us to help us to better understand how these services benefit us and our community, and how we can be the best partners to them as well. Because, recycling and disposing of waste is very important, and it does affect all of us. As I said, there are new rules, or not rules, I guess, but I don't know, what did we call them?
Would be protocol. It's a new initiative.
Yeah, initiative. Thank you. And these things are going to be helping everyone. So please listen, and please share this information, too, with your friends and your family. We're going to talk about the safest way to dispose of what are called sharps, and those are needles and lancets. People who are, diabetic or are taking different drugs and have to self-inject. We're going to talk about the safest way to dispose of sharps. They're needles and lancets, and how the Eco Park is working to collect them. Lithium batteries, they need special handling when it comes to recycling. And what the heck do you do with those COVID test kits? We'll learn today what Monroe County has in place to collect all of these things called household hazardous waste. What we put in the recycle bin does matter, and we're going to get specific in the next hour about that. But first, let's hear from today's co-host, estate planning attorney Mike Robinson. And I'm going to ask you, Mike, do you find yourself asking, what can you put in the recycle bin and what can't you? I know I do that all the time. And I know also that you work with older adults. And most of them, that time that you spend with them is planning and looking to get rid of unwanted things after they decide what to do with their valuable assets. So that's important. That's, kind of bringing your life together. And it seems that the younger generation today, anyway, the ones that I know, aren't always looking to keep those mementos or the furniture or the things that you save, thinking they might like to have them. And they have their own styles, and they can get things today a lot cheaper than we used to be able to get them. And downsizing can be very difficult when you have nowhere to put the things. So what do your clients say about that, Mike? Do you hear that from your clients?
Hey, Joanna, happy Saturday. I hear it honestly more from the clients' children than I do from the clients. When people are downsizing, moving out of a home maybe they've been into for decades, and then moving into a smaller apartment or an assisted living facility, then yes, we certainly have the conversation of how to get rid of, furniture and items that just aren't going to fit in the new living quarters. But honestly, it's really more from the kids that we hear these concerns. And some of it's just a practical matter, is they don't have room.
Yeah, you're right.
For, mom and dad's furniture. They have their own furniture. And sometimes there might be a particular piece that either carries some particular sentimental value, or maybe it's just a very nice piece that somebody wants. But very often, we find that those items wind up in an estate sale, or unfortunately, sometimes they wind up in a dumpster.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. And the other thing I was just thinking when you said that they have their own things and they don't have space, they also, many of them have children, and you know how much stuff the kids bring along. I mean, they have so many contraptions and things when they're traveling or, even in the house that I could see why they don't want anything extra.
That's true. The days of tops and jacks are gone, and now now they've got toys that take up a little more room.
In cars. I mean, they actually have cars.
Yeah. That's a little beyond my experience, but yes, I know that happens as well. But you bring up a good point, and it's something we've talked about here on the show before, is the importance of downsizing, even before you have to. And we've all been guilty of it. You peek into our garages or our basements, and you can see some of the collections that have gathered over the years. But ultimately, somebody has to deal with that when we become incapacitated or when we die. And what a gift to the kids to take care of that stuff ahead of time.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is, there's enough to deal with when someone passes as it is. There's the logistical issues. Of course, there's the emotional issues. And then having to deal with getting rid of, clutter, for lack of a better word, or just items that, again, nobody has room for or has a desire to keep. That's just an unnecessary burden. So that's something when I talk with clients, I encourage them to really give that some hard thought and to be proactive in dealing with getting rid of what they don't need now. That doesn't mean that they should live in a bare quarters in their final years, but to really give some thought to what do I really need to keep, who's really going to want what I might keep, and then start paring down.
Oh, great points. And, especially when folks have been in their own home for 40, 50 years, you collect a lot of things, and they do become very important to you. You're holding them, might be from your ancestors or whatever. But, and I know if you move, you can downsize a little bit each time. That's helped me over the years. But I do want to point out that there's also there's a physical and emotional feeling when you do tidy things up and clear things out. It helps your brain, I think, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And so I hope everybody takes advantage of the things we're going to talk about today. And, if you say things like, can I recycle this? Does that sound familiar? Stay tuned for answers from Mike Garland, Director of Monroe County's Department of Environmental Services, next on Seniors Rock Radio and News Radio WHAM 1180.
And welcome back to Seniors Rock. And Mike Garland first joined the county as Special Assistant to the County Executive, managing major capital projects, energy initiatives, and environmental programs. His career began in private sector consulting on domestic and international water projects, and he's past president and water ambassador of the New York Water Environment Association. Welcome back, Mike Garland.
Well, thank you, Mike and Joanna. It's great to be here.
It is great to be here, and we're happy to have you here. And, recycling, folks, in Monroe County is a big endeavor. And not only is it important to recycle things that can be repurposed, but it is their job is to sort the materials that are contaminating and holding up the recycling process. And that's not good. So I, for one, ask at least once a week, is this recyclable? I learned the last time that Mike was here that the best policy is, when in doubt, throw it out. And that is in the trash, not the blue bin. As we grow out of things or move to retirement housing, disposing of certain things can be puzzling, that's for sure, but sometimes it's even dangerous. So Mike Garland, let's start with this. What are some ideas and recommendations for someone downsizing or moving, cleaning out all of their lifelong possessions?
Well, that's a great question, Joanna. Monroe County's Department of Environmental Services receives thousands of calls and emails every year from residents in this exact position. They ask, what do I do with this? How do I dispose of that? Is it recyclable? Do I need an appointment?
Wow.
And there are many opportunities to recycle, upcycle, and recirculate goods when cleaning out a home, regardless of how long you've lived there. And sustainability really comes into play when you pass along useful items for reuse and responsibly handle items that are recyclable. The Monroe County WM Eco Park is a great community resource for those who find themselves in that exact situation. And one important tip is that it's the seller's responsibility to ensure that houses are completely empty, and this includes household hazardous waste in all forms. So hopefully on today's show, I can answer many of these questions and help residents to downsize sustainably and use the Monroe County WM Eco Park as a convenient and efficient resource.
Okay, so let's discuss household hazardous waste. We all have it in our homes. And what is it? Tell us, please. And how can you sustainably dispose of it?
Well, the United States Environmental Protection Agency, known as the EPA, classes certain household products that can catch fire, they can react or explode under certain circumstances, or that are corrosive or toxic as household hazardous waste. And products such as paints, cleaners, oils, batteries, pesticides can contain hazardous ingredients that require special care when you dispose of them. And Monroe County takes special care with these items, especially due to the proximity of Lake Ontario, fed by the Genesee River and Irondequoit Bay. It's never advisable to place any of these materials down drains, toilets, or storm drains in the street where they can damage the environment and impact public health.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. And, we've had in my family experience with that, Mike, and we've taken advantage of the Eco Park when we had to clean out my father-in-law's barn and cellar. But, tell us, household hazardous waste, we all probably have at least some of it. But tell us, what is it and how can you sustainably dispose of it?
Well, another great question. Thank you for that. And firstly, what is acceptable as a household hazardous waste are things like aerosol cans with cleaners and lubricants, automotive fluids with antifreeze, brake, power steering, transmission fluids, car cleaners like Armor All and tire cleaner, household cleaners like soaps and waxes, driveway, asphalt, concrete sealers, flammables, gasoline, kerosene, paint thinners and strippers, glues and caulks and other paste, mercury, which are in thermometers and thermostats, paint, which is probably the biggest, largest quantity of material that we receive, either oil-based or latex, pesticides, insecticides, fertilizers, pool and photochemicals, as well as resins, adhesives, wood stains, and preservatives. That's really it in a nutshell.
Wow, there are a lot of them.
And we brought a lot of those cans.
Yeah. And you save them just in case, right? Yeah, no. What are some of the common questions that you get, Mike, about just, how do I dispose? What are the things people are asking?
Well, as I mentioned there, people are often curious, what is household hazardous waste? And I think I explained that in the last answer. One question that we get that's very common is, how do I package the household hazardous waste materials for transport in my car if they're bringing it to the Eco Park? And at the Eco Park, fortunately, when people bring the household hazardous waste, we have a county employee that's an attendant or a technician that will greet the resident and will remove the material from the vehicle. So we ask that it be packed in the back, the very back of their vehicle, whether it's in a trunk or, say, in an SUV, but it's readily accessible for the attendant to be able to retrieve the material. Now, the Eco Park is open 2 days a week. That's the other question we get is, when are you open? It's Wednesday afternoons, 1 to 6:30, Saturday morning, 7:30 to 1. But for household hazardous waste, it does require an appointment, which you can make two ways, either online at monroecounty.gov/ecopark or call us at 753-7600, option 3, and we will schedule an appointment for you. All other materials that we accept at the Eco Park do not require an appointment.
Well, this is fascinating, and we're going to tell you again before the end of the show, folks, where you can get this info, because there's a lot of it, as he says. But throughout the years, Mike, I'm just curious, hazardous waste collection, you must have seen a lot of unusual items. Can you tell us about any of them?
Well, we certainly have. And with so many large industries here in Monroe County, many former employees seem to have stockpiled certain chemicals or other materials in their homes and decide they want to get rid of it. So some of those include, as you'd expect, photographic chemicals and copier chemicals, We even received a brick of uranium that allegedly was part of the Manhattan Project, so we had to have a federal agency assist us with the proper disposal of that. Grenades, other explosives, a taxidermized bear.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. And not to interrupt, but when you get that kind of thing, do you have to report that?
We certainly do.
Okay, just wondered. Okay, tell me about the bear.
Well, we received a taxidermized bear. So it was a large stuffed bear that someone wanted to get rid of.
No.
I would have liked to have brought that home, but we can't do that. Knives, other types of weapons, and another unique chemical known as picric acid, which explodes when exposed to air. So very, very dangerous. So that's why we have properly trained staff on site that can interpret these items as they come in.
Never thought about that.
Yeah, schools and labs have brought animal specimens, packaged in formaldehyde, and even received a container of human teeth that had mercury amalgam fillings in them.
Yikes. Wow. Now, if you want to go over this again, this list, and there's so many things, go to monroecounty.gov/recycling, and we'll continue talking with Mike Garland, Director of the Monroe County Department of Environmental Services, right after the news. So stay right there. We'll be right back. We'll continue now with Michael Garland. He's the Director of the Monroe County Department of Environmental Services, and we've been talking about recycling. Now, what should be done with confidential documents? That's one of the things I hear a lot. We talk about it, amongst the family. Do we need to just tear it up, or what do we do? Things like tax returns and bills and credit card receipts, those kinds of things. Everyone has them, and when you are cleaning out a home or moving, you can be overwhelmed. What does the Eco Park offer, Mike, as far as options for proper disposal of these kinds of things? Do they do shredding?
Well, the Eco Park accepts pre-sorted documents from Monroe County residents only, and we hold them in bins for periodic off-site shredding. So yes, we will accept documents for shredding, but I want to clarify that the service that we offer is not certified or secure document destruction. Some companies locally offer that. So we do not provide certificates of destruction. We just receive it and it's shredded. But materials, when they're brought in, should be sorted before coming to the facility. Some folks like to go through their banker boxes full of documents and sort through them, and that ties up the line. So we ask people to be ready to go and just drop them into the bin. No envelopes, magazines, newspaper clippings, manila folders, all those can go in your regular recycling, your curbside bin. But materials from businesses or home offices are not acceptable. We only accept them from residents. But municipalities and non-for-profits and other businesses offer periodic shredding events for residents that are often certified. Businesses can contact Cascade Recovery or Classified Scanning and Shredding for certified document destruction. We provide that information on our website, monroecounty.gov/ecopark. And paper shredded at home, say you have a shredder at home, can be recycled curbside, but we ask that it be put in brown paper bags only, not plastic bags. Those brown paper bags then should be stapled so the contents stay contained, they don't blow down the street, or we can receive those at the Eco Park in that same condition. So either curbside or at the Eco Park, but again in brown paper bags.
Great explanation. Thank you for that. Now let's get to something very important that's kind of been in the news lately. Sharps, needles, syringes. Residents may have them for many medical conditions. Mike, tell us about that and what's the proper method now to dispose of these items?
Well, we really appreciate that question. And as you may know, last month, County Executive Bello announced the county's Sharp Smart program. And again, Sharps are the general definition for needles, syringes, lancets, things of that nature. Recently, there's been an increased instance of all types of sharps found in local waste and recycling streams, the landfills, and at Monroe County's water resource recovery plant. So we've seen a real increase in the quantity of these sharps. The U.S. EPA estimates that each year 8 million people throughout the United States use more than 3 billion needles, syringes, and lancets and other injectable devices. And so the disposal isn't regulated, but with the large number of newly available self-injectable drugs, we know folks use them for insulin, but for some of those new self-injectable drugs like Ozempic or Wegovy, that's really driving the increase. And folks they want to do the right thing, but they wish cycle that these used needles and syringes can be recycled, and they end up in the recycling stream and causing a hazard for our employees, and also creating an issue at our landfills and other environmental recycling facilities. So we're working on educating the public on what to do. And what folks can do, again, the Eco Park is an outlet for these materials. We just ask folks to store the used sharps in an approved sharps disposal container immediately after use, or if they don't have a sharps container, that they can improvise and use a heavy-duty leak-proof plastic household container like a laundry jug. And we provide stickers and information that people can place on that jug, or they can just simply label it as sharps. But if folks want labels and more information, they can contact us at mcdes@monroecounty.gov.
Wow. I just wanted to mention we had a caller that called a couple of weeks back on the show, and this is how our eyes were opened. And he had some issues with some, hospitals and doctors' offices and so on that were saying just throw them out. So it's important that everybody shares this information. Thank you very much, Mike.
You're very welcome.
Mike, seniors often have more pharmaceuticals and medications than other segments of the population. What should be done with them when cleaning out a house?
Well, residents can always properly dispose of unwanted pharmaceuticals twice a week, every week at the Monroe County WM Eco Park. No appointment is necessary. Just drive in and drop them off. Other law enforcement offices locally accept pharmaceuticals. Brighton, Brockport, East Rochester, Fairport, Ogden, all Monroe County Sheriff substations, various hospitals, pharmacies, and colleges will accept those pharmaceuticals. But always check monroecounty.gov/ecopark for information. Monroe County partners with Wegmans and the Monroe County Sheriff's Office to host mobile pharmaceutical collections across the county. These are very popular for folks to bring in pharmaceuticals. We have 2 upcoming events in cooperation with Wegmans. One is in Webster at the Holt Road Wegmans on Saturday, August 10th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., no appointment necessary. And in Chili at the Chili Paul Road Wegmans on Saturday, September 21st from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. as well, too. And all those medications that we received, they're received with law enforcement present, whether it's at a mobile collection or at the Eco Park, because there's controlled substances. And those medications are destroyed through a waste-to-energy incineration process. And lastly, what I would say is folks can bring expired or unused pharmaceuticals to various pharmacies locally, Wegmans, CVS, Walgreens, and Rite Aid. Some offer on-site collection like a drop box or receptacle that meets federal standards, or that pharmacy may offer a mail-back collection with prepaid envelopes.
Mike, what about the containers that those pharmaceuticals come in? What can people do with those?
Garbage.
Very good. Thank you, Joanna. Excellent answer.
I'm learning.
You're learning. That's right. And that's a great question, Mike. Thank you for that. So, say pill bottles or any other containers, those should go in the garbage, as Joanna rightly said, because they can often contain pharmaceuticals that we don't want in the waste stream inadvertently. And they also may contain personal information that folks don't want out in the public.
Makes sense. Tell us about the county's Alexa app and how we can use it to answer recycling questions.
Well, thank you for that question, too. It's over 100 million folks, we understand, across the United States rely on smart speaker technology, right, at home. And 70% of those smart speaker users use the Amazon Alexa device. So we worked locally with a Pittsburgh-based company, Civic Voice, to develop an Alexa skill, is what it's called, to be able to answer a multitude of questions about recycling, because we want to make it as easy as possible for residents to get the information they need as quickly as they can. The nice thing about the Amazon Alexa is that it translates up to 8 different languages, right? So it helps folks that English isn't their first language. It's also can assist folks that are blind or visually impaired to retrieve need-to-know information. So if you have an Alexa device in your home, like my mother does in Penfield, and she loves it. Instead of calling me to ask me what can be recycled, I don't mind when she does, she can now ask Alexa. And if you have that Alexa device on, you just simply say, Alexa, open Monroe County Recycling. And the skill is free to enable. And then you can ask away. Alexa, can I recycle electronics? Alexa, can I bring tires to the eco park? Alexa, how do I recycle paint? On and on. So it's meant to be a real resource for our community. Again, we've got a community of dedicated environmental stewards, and we're grateful for their commitment.
Well, we're really grateful that you're here and that you're sharing all this info because it's so important, folks. There's so many people, and we need to, work together to make sure these things are taken care of properly and safely. So thank you, Mike Garland, for being here and for what you do for the community and for your mother. And keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
And folks, you can go to monroecounty.gov/recycling or monroecounty.gov/ecopark to learn more. Please keep listening. We'll be right back, and we're broadcasting next week from somewhere that's in a town near you. Stay right there. So we learned today that what you put in the recycle bin does matter, Mike, and so does the air we breathe, by the way. And you can get clean air anywhere and save money with indoor air professionals and an air duct cleaning. Cleaner air in your home or place of business is just a phone call away. And today you're going to save cash money when you book your first air duct cleaning with Indoor Air Pros to the tune of $160. That's $160 off of air duct cleaning if it's your first time from the experts. Healthier air, healthier people, and pets. Call Peter Gordon today and ask him about the best deals from or for Seniors Rock Radio. You can get like $350 off the Healthway portable medical grade air purifier, or his offer of $500 off the whole house unit still stands. And cleaner air again is easy. Just call Peter at Indoor Air Pros 427-8020. 585-427-8020 or visit indoorairpros.com. Tell them Seniors Rock sent you. And thanks for listening today, folks. We're in our last segment here, and we hope that you'll join us next week, too. And don't forget, we start at 11 now, every Saturday. It's going to be a special show next week. We're broadcasting live from Crossburg Brothers Pool and Spa Soak and Save event. That's Saturday, July 27th, that will be there. And the event is happening Friday the 26th through Sunday the 28th. So we're just going to be there on Saturday. I want to make that clear. Mike Crossmer and family are anticipating a wonderful weekend. We are too. There's going to be a lot of family fun. So bring the kids. He'll be there with his 4. And there's a food truck on Saturday, coincidentally, when we're there, and huge deals on a new spa pool. So all the spas will be on display, and I've seen it. I saw it last year. It's crazy. It's at the Canandaigua Civic Center in Farmington. And come on out with us and say hello. We'll be there again Saturday, broadcasting live from 11 till 2 next week. Stop by, have some fun, and save on that spa or pool that you've always wanted. That's what I want.
And are we going to be in a spa while we do the broadcasting?
Well, you never know. I think they should come out and find out. That's something I'm keeping under wraps right now.
As long as we don't electrocute ourselves.
Under the beach towel.
Yeah, there you go.
Also this week is the Village at Unity's free summer concert, Mike. Those are a blast. I know your sister goes all the time. Those are on Tuesdays, and this week, Tuesday 6:30 till 8 on the Village Green. The Bob Greco Band will be there playing, and they're outside. It's awesome, and hopefully it'll be nice weather, and who cares? We were there last year, and it was raining, and it was wonderful. So it's also, by the way, this week, Grease Chamber Members Appreciation Night. So great events all summer at the Village at Unity, and they're free to the public. Mike, isn't that cool? I know your sister. What's your sister's favorite? Is it Ruby Shoes, you said?
Ruby Shoes, yeah. She and her husband Joe try to catch them whenever they can. And I think, are they closing out the Unity concert series this year? I know they're playing.
I have to check it, but we do have it on our Facebook page, all the dates.
There you go.
There you go, Seniors Rock Radio Facebook.
And, just to reiterate something that we talked about last weekend, we're always encouraging people to get out and be active. At the same time, you want to be safe, and in particular, you want to stay hydrated. And as we age, it becomes more and more of an issue, in part because our sense of thirst changes. And as opposed to when we're younger, when we're older, especially 65 plus, oftentimes we don't even feel thirsty until we've already begun to be dehydrated. So,
True that.
Pay attention, especially in the summertime. Get out, have fun, but be smart and be safe about it too.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mike. And what else do you tell people usually at the end of the show?
Hey, enjoy the week coming up. Thank you for listening. Be well and be kind.
I've enjoyed this hour very much with all of you, and I'm thankful to the sponsors that support this program and make it possible. So thank them, and go to our website. You can find them all there at seniorsrockradio.com, along with a contact page to contact us. I hope you got to spend time with your family and friends this weekend. Celebrate whatever you're thankful for, especially your elders, because like we remind you every week, Seniors Rock.